then start out by gliding those shoulder blades down your back. Allow the palms to open up. Gently beginning to close the eyes. And start to feel the softening in your body on the exhale. Feeling that sweet surrender into the here and the now. And continue with that conscious exhale as you continue to feel your body grow heavier and heavier into the floor. And as you empty out, on the next inhale, bringing in all this fresh oxygen, all this fresh fuel for every cell in your body. As you breathe in, letting the breath flow all the way to the bottom of your lungs. Start to feel your belly rise. Again, on that inhale, part one is to bring the breath all the way to the bottom of your lungs, feeling your belly expand. Adding in part two on the inhale all the way to the bottom of the lungs, start to feel the breath rise into your rib cage. And breath all the way to the bottom of the lungs. Belly expanding, rib cage expanding, and then adding in the third part, collarbone slightly opening up. As the breath rises into your upper chest. And as you feel the upper chest, start to feel your shoulders grounding heavier into the earth, helping to support the breath. Few more rounds just like that, all the way to the bottom. Rib cage opening, upper chest expanding. Emptying out on that exhale, every drop releasing. Let's take one more full breath in. And one more breath out. And gently bend your knees. And then start to bring the soles of the feet to touch as you let your knees open up. Allowing one hand to come to the heart, the other hand to your belly. Continue with the breath. Continue to fuel up. And as you do so, feeling the opening of the inner thighs, the knees softening towards the earth. So because this practice is so grounding, it's important to connect with the breath really fully, as the breath keeps us afloat. The breath keeps the body feeling light. And this way we are energized and relaxed at the same time. And then slowly releasing, interlacing the fingertips in front of you. Just turn the palms up to the ceiling. Just take a big stretch in the wrists. And then take those arms and just take them overhead. And maybe a little wiggle side to side. You can keep the legs exactly as is if it feels okay. And then we'll go ahead and gently release those arms. Gently bring them down at your side body. And then we'll support the legs as they come back together. Right knee will come into the chest, and then straighten out your left leg. So extending the left leg to the top of your mat. Hug the right thigh bone snug. With every exhale, you're emptying out more. You're softening, bringing the thigh towards the belly and the chest more. And then we'll go ahead and straighten out the right arm off to the side as we draw the knee across the chest into a twist. Slowly feeling the sensations in the outer hip, into your low back. Now remembering this is your yoga, your practice, you can do any adjustments you like. You can even scooch up on that left hip a little bit. Some of you maybe even straightening out that right leg. And then taking your gaze over to the right as you feel your right shoulder blade melting towards the mat. Then gently bending the knee if it's not already there. Slowly rise back up to the center. Bend the knees, feet to the mat. Adjust the hips and spine so you're back to neutral here. And then drawing both legs into your chest, giving it a good squeeze. Straightening the legs up to the ceiling and just feel the sensations in the back of the knee here. Maybe drawing the legs in a little bit more if it feels good to you. You can walk the hands up towards the feet. And then pointing your toes and then curling the toes towards your face. Again, inhale, pointing your toes. Exhale, toes towards your face. One more time, breath in and breath out. We bend the knees back into the chest. This time keeping the left knee into your chest, straighten out your right leg to the top of the mat. Keep lengthening through your tailbone, pressing through your right heel. Couple more breaths here. And here's your twist, second side, as you extend that left arm out and then slowly drawing that left knee across the chest. And your variation. Your heart center is really open right now, so start to breathe more infinite space into that left side. And then we'll go ahead and gently release, bending the knee back in, slowly rise up through the center. Bend your knees, feet on the floor again, slight adjustment in the hips and spine, bringing the legs in. We'll take the legs up to the ceiling again. This time we'll let the legs open up into a V shape. Hands can be on the outside of the thighs for the support, inner thigh for a little more. Couple more breaths here. Continue to press your low back towards the floor. Your sacrum is grounded. And then we'll bend the knees right into a happy baby of any kind. You can adjust your grip, grabbing towards the arches of the feet. You can rock a little side to side, massaging low back. We'll go ahead and gently release. Draw those legs together. Bring the feet down to the floor and then straighten out the legs. We're going to start to move into a crescent moon shape, taking those arms overhead. And then start to take your feet over to the right. As you start to bend your upper body over to the right, the arms remaining relaxed into the floor. Now at this point, you can go ahead and hook your left ankle above the right knee. You can also grab a hold of your left wrist. And we'll go ahead and come back through the center and then switching sides, taking the legs over to the left, upper body, arms over to the left, and then option to grab a hold of that right wrist so you can cross the right ankle above your left knee. And your gaze going a little to the right can help soften that right side down a little more. And as you breathe in, we're stretching the muscles in between the rib cage. And then we'll go ahead and gently release, bringing the body back to the center. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Knees come back into the chest. We move into Apanasana. So cupping your knees with the hands, we straighten out the arms on the breath in, and exhale to hug the knees in. Go ahead and use the strength of your arms to pull the knees into your chest. Use the exhale, belly drawing into the spine, creating more space for low back. And you're going to continue with the same movements. You're just going to change the action a bit, using less of your upper body and use more of the hip flexors to squeeze in. So the hands are just there for support. You're going to squeeze a little bit more in the belly. You can even release the hands, tap the toes on the floor, and knees come back into the chest. And I'll take 2 more rounds. And last time here, knees coming to the chest, exhale. Lowering the feet to the floor. Now you're going to roll over to one side of your mat, whichever side where you can see your screen. Okay. We're going to remain here. You can go ahead and just prop your head up with your hand, or you can just lie down on your arm and just straighten that arm out. Okay. So we're going to start out with a quad stretch. Soft bend in your knees. Just take that top leg and just reach back for your pant leg or for your ankle. Now for a little bit more, you'll just draw the knee back a bit. You can pull that heel in towards your glute, roll your shoulder back. And then we're going to go ahead and gently release that. We're going to bend the knee, top knee back in towards the chest, and you're just going to straighten the leg up towards the ceiling. Now at this point, you can start to grab a hold of your big toes. You can pull in a little bit more. Couple more breaths here. And then the exhale, just softening the knee, bringing the knees on top of each other, and start to just nuzzle the knees up towards your chest. So it's a little more in alignment with the hip or even closer into your chest. We're going to go right back into another twist. So you're going to start to open up the chest towards the ceiling. And it doesn't matter which direction you're facing. You can press down on your knees, your thigh for a little bit more. And again, some of you may be straightening out the legs. Twisting is so great for digestion. Again, digestion is what supports our immune system. A few more soothing breaths here. And a soft bend in the knee. And then slowly bringing the legs back up through the center. And then slight adjustment. Once again, walk your feet out a little bit wider, mat distance apart, toes are facing forward. And just do a few wipers. Letting the breath move the body. Inhale brings it to the center. Exhale over to the other side. So you're using this to wipe the slate clean, and at the same time, the movement as it drops over to one side of your back creates this lovely stretch for the top of your hip, the quads, which we don't get a lot of throughout our day. We really want to open up the front of the pelvis more. We want more opening in the chest. A couple more rounds. To counterbalance our day-to-day lives, especially during this time. Some of us are sitting a lot more. Some of us are on screens like we are right this moment a lot more. And then come on back up to the center. That's all part and parcel of the same thing, right? So and start to walk your feet in. And then you're going to turn your body to the other side. We're going to do the exact same thing, second side. So again, don't worry if you can't see the screen. You know what you're doing. I'm going to flip to the other side. And go ahead and just bend your knees. You can either lie down on your arm or prop your head up. Bend that top knee, grab a hold of your pant leg or your ankle. And then for a little bit more, you just sort of kick that knee back a tad. What that does is helps you stretch from two joints, your hip and your knee joint. You can start to squeeze that heel in a little tighter towards the glute. And then we'll move into straightening out the legs. So bringing the knee in, you'll open up the knee a little bit more to the ceiling and then straightening out the leg. And remember, you have your options there for grip. You can grab a hold of your toe, your foot. You can even start to bend the elbow a little bit more, bringing the leg in. And then you'll go ahead and start to bend the knee and release. Bending both knees on top of each other again. And then just start to peel your chest open to the ceiling. Do any little adjustment you need to. You might need to scooch your rib cage a little more towards the same direction as your knees. And then open up and take the gaze the opposite way. Remember, you can also straighten out the legs here. Stretching out muscles around your IT band, outer hip. Some of you might feel this down to your heel if the leg's straightened out. And then go ahead and start to just bend your knees. This time you're just going to roll your torso, upper body over towards the knees, and then bring yourself up into a seat. You can adjust in any way so you can see more easily. You want something to sit on, pillow, blanket. And we'll get into a little more upper body work. Keeping yourself relaxed here, feeling the sits bones ground. Allow your hands to rest comfortably in your nap or on your lap or on your knees. And there's a shift in the way we receive breath here. I really invite you to press into those sits bones to open up the lifeline of your body, your spine. Breath in, we feel the crown of the head rise up. Breath out is down and out the body. One more time, just like that. Inhale, fueling up fully. Exhale completely. We'll start to add movement here as we tuck the chin on the breath out, feeling the stretch in the back of the neck. On the inhale, lift the chin, open the throat. Gaze can go up or keep the eyes closed. And just on your own. And eventually you'll tuck your chin. Go ahead and take your hands and interlace at the base of the skull. And just let your elbows hang really heavy towards the floor. And we'll release the hands and walk the hands behind you. Lean back a little bit here. You're on the pads of your fingertips or on your palms. Fingertips can face forward. Shoulders roll back, and you can just open the throat. For a little bit more in the shoulders, you can start to bend the elbows back a little bit more. And then we come back up to the center. Walking the hands forward this time, finding your way into a fold. And some of you dropping all the way down to the floor. You can bring your head down to a pillow, whatever you have handy. And then go ahead and gently walk the hands over to the right side as you keep reaching those hands forward. Then we come back and then over to the left. Keep grounding your right hip down. And then bringing your hands back through the center as you gently rise back up. Sitting tall once again. This time, taking the chin, tucking, and then over to the right. And then over to the left. So just imagine drawing a big smile with your chin. And then see if you can link that with your breath. The exhale brings the chin to the center. The inhale over to the other side. Notice if you're feeling an urgency to move quickly. See if you can stay with the breath, being present. When we are present with ourselves fully, no matter what we are doing or what we are experiencing, there is complete harmony with what is. There's no resistance, there's no pulling back. Eventually, as you tuck that chin and move to the other side, you can make a full circle on the inhale, letting the throat dip or open up, head dipping back all the way around. And then the exhale, we tuck the chin. And continue with your neck rolls. It's really easy to bear weight of the world on our shoulders, on our neck. And just being really kind with yourself this evening. Letting go of all you carry and just take care of you. And then going the opposite way when you are ready. Our joints can carry a lot of blockages. It's really important to move all our joints. These circular movements are one of the best ways to lubricate, to keep the body really supple. Let's take a couple more full rounds, slow and steady. Eventually bringing your chin back to neutral. This time interlacing the fingertips behind your head. And then I want you to just press your head into your hands. Press the hands back and then keep seeing how far back you can lift the chin. Open up the armpits, the triceps. Big breath. Breath out, remain there. One more inhale. And exhale. Releasing those hands. Interlacing the fingertips in front of you this time. Start to turn those palms out. Start to tuck your chin around your spine. On the inhale, bring the palms towards your chest as you bend those elbows, sitting up tall in the spine. Exhale to tuck the chin and round. Continue with your breath. Stretching out the wrists, stretching out our movement in the elbows. One more time. And breath out. We'll meet back in neutral spine. We'll release those hands. Bring the hands to your knees. Sit up tall in the spine. Right shoulder will drop on your exhale towards your left knee. Then just gaze behind you. And then come back, inhale. Exhale, opposite side, shoulder dropping. And breath in, come back to the center. Exhale, one more round through. To the center, inhale. And exhale. And then come back through the center, moving into a twist this time, a full twist, right hand behind you, left hand on that knee, sit tall, and then twist and rotate. And then come back and we switch sides, breath in, exhale to twist, other way. And then coming back, inhale, arms opening up. Exhale, go ahead and take your left arm across the chest, grab hold of your shoulder. And then take your right arm behind your back. And then palm will face up and then start to twist to the right side. See if you can gaze over your shoulder towards the back of the room. And then back around, inhaling, standing those arms out. Exhale, other direction. You're just going to wrap that right arm to the left shoulder and then placing your left hand behind your back. See how far back you can reach with that hand and then gaze behind you. And then coming back around, inhale, releasing the hands, exhale, touch the floor, sit tall in the spine. We take the left arm up to the ceiling, inhale, exhale to bend over to the right. Walking that hand away from you, you can even drop on down to your forearm. And then start to spin the chest open, gazing up. And then breath in to rise back up and breath out to release. Switching sides, inhale, right arm reaching up. Exhale to bend. And then coming back up through the center. And then we're going to go ahead and find our way into all fours. Let's swing the legs behind us. Padding with a blanket if you need it for the knees, or you can just pad up your mat. And just begin to move around it here with the hips, little circles, child's pose. Down dog can even be really restorative. You can just feel that center where you're evenly distributed in your weight. You can even close your eyes for this portion as going within. Noticing your physical needs. Noticing your mental energy this evening. And we'll eventually meet back in all fours. Taking that right hand up to the ceiling, threading the needle is next. Begin to rotate your wrist out. We'll do 3 rounds with breath. Inhale. Exhale, halfway there. Coming back up with your breath in. Exhale, halfway there. One more time. Breath in to rise. Exhale to drop in, coming all the way down to your shoulder. Opposite arm can reach behind you for more of a twist. You want to open up the chest. There's lots of variations, you guys. One that I really love too is dropping into more of a child's pose option. That gives you a nice stretch for low back, glutes. And a few more breaths there. Just feeling the stretch in your shoulder. And then slowly coming up on the inhale. Back to all fours, neutral spine. And then we switch sides. As you are ready, 3 rounds with your breath. Left arm reaching up, you can rotate that wrist, and then exhale halfway there, and then just keep going on your own. Breath in to rise up. Breath out. Beautiful, you guys. One more time through, and eventually just dropping into your variation of threading the needle. Letting your head rest. Again, some of you sinking into child's pose if that feels really good. Continuing to fill your lungs up with infinite space. Breathing in through the nostrils, out through the nostrils. Little pauses in between. A couple more breaths there. One more big inhale. And exhale. And come on back up into all fours. And then we're going to go ahead and step the right leg forward. So we're going to go into a lunge. Now once you get there, hands can touch the floor. Use pillows if you need to, and then just scooch your knee back as far as you can so you can feel a stretch here. And once you get there, I just want you to let your hips sink towards the floor. So don't resist it. You can go ahead and just let your head drop towards your knee. Relax the back of your neck. And take another breath here. We'll move into half split next. Go ahead and just lift up a bit in those hips and shift them back as you straighten out your front leg. I'm going to offer you draw the toes towards your face here, dig the heel down. So let it be a little more active in that right leg. Squeezing that kneecap up can help release the back of that leg, the hamstrings, the calves. And exhale out all your breath, let it go. Stay for your inhale. Feeling buoyant, exhale to soften in. And again, inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Breath out. Okay, and see if you can just let your head go. See if you can just sink in a little more deeply. And we're going to go ahead and start to walk those hands forward. Bring the hands to the inside of your right leg, and then start to shimmy your right foot off to the right side of your mat. So it's about halfway on your mat, halfway turned out. Your heel is in, toes turned out. And then bringing your right hand to your thigh, maybe press that thigh away from your chest a little bit. So essentially you're in a runner's lunge variation where the leg's a little bit wider out. You just press the thigh away from your chest. A few breaths here. You can spin the chest a little more to the right. One more big inhale. And exhale. Slowly stepping back, finding your way into down dog or child's pose. And just wiggle out those hips a little bit. Any movement you need here, even through all fours, is a nice option. So whatever you're doing, let it be deliberate. We are just removing those residual effects of the posturing before moving to our other side. And then you're going to go ahead and come back through the center. Then we'll step that left leg forward, right into your lunge. And once again, scooch your back knee towards the back of the mat more. If you need that padding, and a really useful way is just pad up your mat the long side. And then just drop in a little bit more here. Making sure your knee isn't going past your toes. Melt the chest down. You can even just let your head go. A few more breaths here. And then you'll go ahead and start to move into your half split. as we rise up and just straighten out that left leg. So digging the heel into the floor, toes will curl towards the face. Keep a micro bend in your knee. Inhale here. Exhale to soften in a little bit more. Smoothing out the texture of your breath. Inhale. Exhale. We'll take a couple more breaths just like that. One more time. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale out the nose. And then just hold the pose. And see if you can let your head relax more, back of the neck softening. And then we'll go ahead and start to rise up and shift forward once again. You're back into your lunge. Now remember, we're going to start to tiptoe that left foot out to the outer edge of the mat. Bring the hands to the inside of your thigh and just bring that heel in so it's on your mat, toes are turned off your mat. And you could stay right there and just open up a little bit to the left, or take your left hand and press the thigh away from your chest. Curl those toes towards your knees so you're flexing through your foot. And you come onto the nice edge of that foot. Couple breaths. Big opening in the pelvis here. And then slowly come back, and we take that leg back as we do some movements, wiggling out the hips, swaying a little side to side. And then we're moving into frog pose next. So that preps us for the posture. You can turn to the long side of your mat if you need, again, more padding for the knees. We're going to start to open up the knees wide. So coming into all fours to begin. Start to turn, shimmy your knees out rather first. So start to shimmy those knees out. Once you have it as far as you can go, where it's comfortable, where you can pull back in, turn your toes out. And your heels are on the floor, or your ankles are on the floor rather. And then start to shimmy the knees out a little bit more. Okay, and see how that feels. That's okay. Let's just drop on down to those forearms. And let your head rest. You can make fists with the hands and just let your head drop. At this point, your legs may just naturally start to open up a little bit more on their own, and let your body find its own edge. Remember, you discern the difference between pain and sensations. So just know that at any point it's pinching or causing any pain, just slowly find your way back out of the pose. Otherwise, breathe through the sensation. It's okay to be a little uncomfortable. Stay with it. And just give me 3 more soothing breaths here. Creating this space from the inside out. And then we slowly start to rise up or begin to shimmy the knees in first. So whatever is path of least resistance for you. And then gently coming up. And then as you rise up, go ahead and draw those knees together a little bit more and lengthen out a bit. And then we'll do some big hip circles here. Swaying the pelvis all the way around. And then going the other direction. And then eventually we'll find a seat again. This time I'm going to have you bring the legs forward. Bring the legs forward. Bend your knees. Walk the feet out a little bit wider. Lean back on those hands and we just do some wipers. Again, a little side to side. And then eventually just let your knees fall either direction and hold. And then you can just take that hip and push the pelvis forward a little bit more. So again, countering that opening in the pelvis we were just doing now, we want more internal rotation of the thigh. You can squeeze the bum a little more here. And then we're going to take the hands and then turn towards the same direction as the knees and keep walking the hands a little bit more behind you. So now adding in a twist and an opening in that front of the pelvis again. And then bring yourself back through the center, hands behind you, knees come back up, and just do a few wipers here again. And then we'll go to the other side. The knees will fall. And just let them fall the way however they lay naturally, but the legs are opened up. And then push into that hip as you just roll the pelvis forward a bit, squeezing your glute. And then we'll take the hands and just walk the torso to the same direction as your knees and just twist. And then coming back around through the center. And then back through a few more wipers. And then we'll go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together, knees opening up into Baddha Konasana. If you need props here, again, pillows are a great option. Sitting tall, inhale, and then exhale to drop in. You can use your elbows for a little bit more pressing into your inner thighs or your knees. And then gently coming back up. Draw those knees together. Right leg remains as is. Go ahead and straighten out your left leg. Right hand behind you. So you have options here, 1, 2, and option 3 is to bend that straight leg. We sit tall in the spine and then rotate to the right. So yeah, we're doing a twist. At the same time, it's a little bit more about the outer hip again. It's a little more about the internal rotation of your thigh. And the added bonus is the extra, again, immune boost whenever we do twists for digestion. Let's bring ourselves back around and just do a little counter twist to the other side, just rotating and turn other way. And then back through the center. We'll switch sides, straightening out the legs, a little tap of the knees. And then left knee can come into the chest. Again, you know your options for twist. Left hand is behind you, breath is in and up. I exhale to turn. We'll feel that lovely sensation here in the outer glute. And then bring yourself back to the center as you do a counter twist the other way. And then bringing yourself back around, you'll unravel those legs, taking them forward. A little tap out. One more fold here. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up to the ceiling. Walk the ribcage up a little bit more. Exhale to fold all the way down. As you bow your head, as you allow yourself to be in a state of devotion, you're committed, where there's sweet care for yourself, where there's love for yourself. I'm going to go ahead and gently come back up and bend the knees and just give yourself a hug and a squeeze. Now we're going to come down to the floor. This is where I'll give you the option of using your blanket. You can roll up that blanket. You'll want about the length of your spine. So you'll roll up the blanket. Pillow works again, doesn't matter size or shape. You're just allowing your chest to open up on a prop of some kind. If that's not for you, totally fine to just come down to the floor as is. And this is a really good posture to practice daily. You can just let yourself drop into this posture throughout the day. Maybe even set a timer on your phone to remind yourself to do so. And in this way, we're able to counter our day-to-day rounding of the upper body. And also such a beautiful reminder of softening into your own heart. Of instead of closing ourselves, we remain open. We remain engaged and expansive. In this way, the world comes from you and not at you. I invite you to just settle into this posture, anything you want with the legs. And notice if you resist or if your body resists. Observe. And then just give yourself permission to relax and surrender a little more. And then start to breathe in more deeply into your heart center. Start to breathe in infinite space. All of creation is through love, imprinted by light. With every breath in, continuing to ignite your soul, to relax your thoughts. And my beautiful souls, I invite you to remain here for as long as you would like. So important to take this time, at least 10 minutes, to just be with yourself. Bring my hand to my heart center. I bow to you in deep gratitude. Thank you so much for letting me guide you through your practice, for bringing me into your home. And know that even though we practice alone, we are alone together. It's an honor to be in your presence. I leave you with love and light, with power and with peace. Namaste.